Let's go!
Hey everybody, Coach Scott here today. And today I want to talk to you about a question that I'm frequently asked, and that is, how does your maintenance phase differ from the transformation phase? And I would say it and sum it up in 3 words. My maintenance phase can be summarized with the words balance, consistency, and grace. Balance, consistency, and grace. Now, before you ever start thinking about maintenance phase, you need to get to maintenance phase or be close to maintenance phase. Now that can be your long-term goal, and it should be your goal. But before you start thinking about maintenance phase and changing your routines and habits to fit your maintenance, you really need to be there first. You need to be getting closer to that maintenance stage before you start adapting any type of strategies or methods. So I want to give you a couple of mine, as I've done this now probably for the longest of anybody that's been in our program, obviously. But I want to share some thoughts and share some things that I've learned with you along the path. And again, I want to support it by those 3 words of balance, consistency, and grace. Because many times people ask me in the early stages years ago, Coach, how did you lose over 100 pounds of fat? And the truth of the matter is, in my mind, I never lost 100 pounds. I only lost 1 pound of fat, but I did it over 100 times. And so when you begin to think about it like that and you take manageable bite-sized pieces, it puts your weight loss and it puts your health goals, I think, in a more manageable perspective. So once I got to my healthy ratios, once I got to where I wanted to be, and by the way, nobody told me where I wanted to be. I knew when I got there, I was there. And so whatever you're looking at in terms of ratios and numbers, just remember that those are just reference ranges. But you need to be the real you. And once you get to the real you, and you say, this is me, then guess what? That's when you can start thinking about maintenance phase. And I always tell people that the road to your health is always under construction. That's right. The road to your health is always under construction. So as you think about that and you put that in perspective, I want to tell you a little bit about my maintenance phase. So my BMR is around 2,000 to 2,100 calories per day. In other words, my calorie expenditure, what I'm usually burning on a day-to-day basis, is going to be somewhere between 2,000 and 2,100 calories. And so the only main difference between my transformation phase and my maintenance phase as it relates to my eating style is that I've backed my meals off from 5 meals to 4 meals. And then what I basically do is I back into my BMR, dividing it by 4. So in essence, I've got about 500 calories a meal that I can utilize towards my 24-hour calorie expenditure. Most of the time I'm not there. I don't really go up to 500. Every now and then I will, but most of the time I do not. And that leaves me room at the end of the day to perhaps have a bigger meal in the evening with my family if I want to. The second thing is, as it relates to hydration, I drink a bottle of water with every meal. A bottle of water with every meal. That's just basically how I stay on track with keeping my hydration levels up to where I need them to be. Sometimes I'll do more than that, depending on what my day looks like, or if it's hot outside, or if I'm walking, or if I'm getting exercise outside. I will probably up that some, but for the most part, as a rule, I drink a bottle of water or a glass of water with every single meal. As it relates to my exercise, this is one of the things that I think I've probably benefited more than anybody else, or that I could have imagined in the early stages. The best advice that I ever got was never stop resistance training and never stop exercising, no matter what you do. It's the greatest advice I've ever gotten, because in all reality, when your basic body movement is at a certain level, exercising on a fasting state, like I am right now, walking on a fasting state, when you're getting your basic resistance training in, you're developing that lean muscle, or you're keeping a level of muscle mass ratio that your body needs, particularly as it relates to long-term metabolic boosting. The next thing is our supplements. I just don't miss supplements. That's the one thing I've been consistent on from day one, and that's because I realize that there are certain nutrients that we just can't get from whole foods anymore. And so I'm never going to miss my supplements. As much as I, again, busy as I get, and as, things that happen from time to time, I'm always going to stay consistent with my supplements. And this is why we created the Healing Recovery Powder, by the way, is because it's so easy and convenient. And so I always take those supplements AM and PM. And then rest. My rest, I just, again, this is very, very important because you have to remember that your body only heals and repairs at rest and while you're sleeping. And that deep REM sleep will help you recover faster. So you should always be going to bed a little bit tired, but you should always be waking up rested. That's a true indicator that your body's healing and repair itself. And another thing that I will remind you of, it's kind of one of my own little rules of thumb. I never go to bed hungry and I never go to bed full. That's right, I never go to bed hungry and I never go to bed full. That's one of the things I really try to strive right before my body's starting to shut down to get some sleep. So if you start to get hungry right before you go to bed, get you that 150 calorie snack that's high protein. Or if you're overeating at night and you're feeling like your body's just digesting food all night long, that's probably an indicator that you're eating too much before you sleep. And you never want to eat too much before you sleep and create an insulin response while you sleep, because insulin and fat burning don't go hand in hand. So, and then again, I want to talk a little bit about treat days. Now, let me start first of all say about treat meal. A treat meal, by definition, is any food that doesn't give you substantial nutritional value. So basically that could be your Halo ice cream or your chocolate chip muffins that you make with whole wheat and coconut oil. Could be your dark chocolate chips, that you eat with a spoonful of peanut. But anything that doesn't give you a substantial amount of nutrition in that meal would be considered a treat meal, okay? And again, it varies from person to person. And again, I don't want to get you off sidetrack with this, but you got to be careful with those treat meals, particularly in the beginning. Now, once you get to maintenance phase or closer to maintenance phase, your goalpost can open up some and give you a lot more flexibility and freedom. That's where the grace comes in, by the way. So treat meals are for occasions. They're not for every day, but for when you really need them or you really feel like you've earned it. Give yourself some grace with those treat meals. Now, a treat day is something completely different. This is something that I do at least once a month, but probably twice a month. I will spend a whole day just going off track, eating whatever I want to eat. And I don't really sabotage myself and eat 5,000 calories a day, but I'll eat probably 2,500 to 3,000 calories. And I'll have some higher fat and some higher carbohydrate meals on that day for a specific reason. And that reason is to fire up my T3s and T4s and my thyroid again and force my body to ramp the metabolic rate back up and force it to burn fuel. Again, this can be found in your manual. You can go over this in your manual and learn about the treat days and treat meals. But again, this should only be applied as you get closer, or really as you get into maintenance phase. And if you'll do that, you'll find out there's a tremendous amount of grace that your body allows yourself, not only physically, but mentally as well. And it's also something to look forward to as you set your goals ahead of time, and ahead of you, it's something to look forward to once you get there, okay? So set your mind on long-term goals, long views. You got to celebrate those small victories along the way, and you can do those with some treat meals from here and there and from time to time. But set your long-term goal to get into maintenance phase and get that treat day once or twice a month, and some people even do it once a week. So again, that's just something that's just my maintenance phase. Everybody has their own particular maintenance phase, but make sure you have some structure, accountability. Don't ever forget about your coaching, and stay close to your community so that you can find that balance. Most importantly, you'll have consistency in your day-to-day walk, and you've got to give yourself some grace, because grace always creates space. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, just let me know. But that's my maintenance phase, and I'll see you on the road when you get to maintenance phase with me. Take care. We'll see you soon.